Beliefs shape our lives. They shape the way we feel, the way we perceive the world, and the way that we interact with others. The problem is that many of us have a lot of beliefs that limit us and hold us back. And most of us never take the time to even acknowledge our limiting beliefs, let alone question their validity. I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm not smart enough, men don't share feelings, men can't cry, I don't have the experience, I don't have the skills, people aren't interested in what I have to say. Sound familiar? These are the typical sorts of beliefs that many of us have about ourselves. But just because we have these beliefs doesn't mean that they're necessarily true. In fact, once we actually acknowledge our limiting beliefs, we can work on not only removing them, but replacing them with more empowering beliefs. How? All it takes is 4 simple steps. It's a process that I've recently started using every time I find that I have a belief that is limiting me. And no, I didn't create this process myself. I actually picked it up from a book that I read. It's a fairly simple process and seems to have worked every time that I've chosen to use it. So I thought I'd go through and make a video about it so that others could perhaps benefit from this process. So here's the process. Okay, so step 1. So the easiest way to do this is to make a list of all the limiting beliefs that you have and then go through and pick one of them. Okay, so once you have your limiting belief, what you want to go through and do is determine how this belief limits you. So what you do is you go through and actually write out, dot point if you like, the problems it causes, the issues it causes for you, whatever comes to you. Just write down how this belief limits you. Okay, so once you've done that, then you go through and you write down how you would rather act, be, or feel. And then step 4 is to go through and create a turnaround statement to be, feel, or act this new way. I'll give you an example of one of the most recent limiting beliefs that I used it for. So for a long time now, I've had this limiting belief that I have to keep things secret or not talk about the things that I've actually been up to with the people in my life. This YouTube channel being one of them. Holding this belief was causing a lot of pain and stress for me because whenever I spoke with my close friends, I always felt like I was living a lie to them and that I was being inauthentic. I eventually came to realise that this belief was really limiting the relationships in my life. So I decided that it was time to change this belief that was no longer serving me. So here's an example of how I did it. So number 1, I went through and wrote out my limiting belief, which was that I had to keep my YouTube channel secret from the people in my life. Number 2, how this belief limits me. It makes me feel guilty for not being honest with my friends or the people closest to me in my life. It causes a lot of unnecessary stress and lowers my self-esteem. Okay, so number 3 is the way I would rather feel or be, which is completely honest and authentic with the people in my life. So then number 4 is to create my turnaround statement, which is I will be 100% authentic and open with the people in my life. Once you have that new statement written out, then what you want to do is go through and read over it on a daily basis until you begin to adopt that new belief for yourself. And I did. In fact, very recently, I actually decided to open up and tell one of my closest friends about my YouTube channel. And nothing but good came from doing it. Not only were they 100% supportive, but they also provided some decent advice. So clearly, this belief was limiting me. Here's just an example of some limiting beliefs and their turnaround statements that may be applicable to you. Limiting belief. Men don't express their emotions. Turnaround statement. It's completely healthy and normal for men to share their emotions and feelings. Limiting belief. It's not okay to focus on my own needs. Turnaround statement. My needs are just as important as everyone else's needs. Limiting belief. I don't have the necessary skills or talent. Turnaround statement. I may not have the skills yet, but I can learn them or I can find someone who can teach me. Limiting belief. I'm too young looking for people to take me seriously. Turnaround statement. If I'm confident in myself and provide value, people won't care how old I am or look. Alright guys, well, there you have it. As you can see, the process is fairly simple, but it's also highly effective. You see, by actually taking the time to acknowledge a limiting belief, by writing it down and breaking it apart, you'll find that it actually becomes much easier to overcome, and then go through and replace it with a more empowering belief. My hope that you guys can go through and use this same process for any limiting beliefs that you may have. In fact, I've actually gone through and created a free guide and template of this process for you guys to download. So just check in the description below for a link. Well, thanks for watching guys. I hope this video has been valuable to you. If it has, be sure to hit that like button, and if you think it would be worth it, then consider subscribing to this channel. I'd also encourage you to comment below with a limiting belief that you may have and the new turnaround statement that you're going to use instead. Thanks again guys, and I'll see you next time.